Ogie Alcasid right here on Off the Record. Sir Ogie, sa malaking karangalan po. Sir Ogie, we will talk about sports and basketball. I want to ask, who is your favorite player and why?
At present, it's LeBron James, and wow, do I have to explain why? he's um he's just an amazing player. He makes his teammates better. He's he's a mix of Mike, Magic Johnson, a little bit of ito maraming ma-intriga dito. A little bit of Jordan, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But Jordan is still, I think, you know, kasi si Lebron naging favorite ko, medyo may edad na ako eh. So growing up, it's always been Michael Jordan.
Hello, online world. Hello, Ka-OTR. This is Off the Record with Migs, Bustos. And for today on Big Shot right here is ang guest po natin as you saw a while ago, just a clip from a while ago, of course, ang nag-iisang Ogie Alcasid. But before we bring him back, just want to say shout out to everybody watching this segment. Of course, every dot today for this shirt. And salamat po for everybody, of course, tuning in sa YouTube page natin. At syempre, introducing to you the one and only. It is a big honor, Ogie Alcasid right here and Off the Record. So Ogie, thank you
Hey, Migs.
for joining us here today. I like your jersey, of course, the Laker jersey, LeBron jersey. Sir Ogie, thank you for joining us right here. Just want to ask you first, kamusta? How has the quarantine life been for you?
I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say that it's heavenly. It's taught me a lot of things, but we're still here. We're still surviving, and we're trying to thrive. So by God's grace, only by God's grace. Yeah.
All right. So Sir Ogie, maraming salamat, of course, for your presence. Sir Ogie, we'll get right down to business. LeBron James.
When he was a rookie, during his Cavs years, yun. I mean, that wasn't well. He's on his 18th season, right? Tama ba? 18th season. So 18 years ago, it was LeBron, but before that, it was Jordan. So, syempre, wala na si Jordan.
Correct.
I mean, to put it plainly, he was sorry, Migs. He was the basketball player that got me interested in NBA again.
Okay. What was it like during his first years? He was 18. He was drafted by the Cavs. Ano yung nakita mo sa kanya parang, uy, wow, solid to ah.
Alam mo, Migs, there was a buzz around him. No, it was similar to, I guess, when Tiger Woods was in his amateur years as a golfer. May ingay, parang, uy, panoorin niyo itong batang player na magaling. And I would hear his name. And then when he finally signed up with the Cavs, and of course, you could see, diba, that this guy is just phenomenal. You know, he was fast, he was tall, he was, you know, he was a wing, and he could do many things. He could dunk. He just did everything. So for me, parang, uy, napaka-exciting naman itong player na to. So I think that initially is what got me interested in LeBron James.
And with that said, following his career for so many years now, which LeBron team is the best for you?
Wow! In terms of like just how great they were, it was probably Miami. You know, Miami kasama niya si Dwayne Wade. You know, that trio, they were just. I mean, I remember there was a stretch where they just kept winning games. Tas parang mababreak nila yung yung Bulls, pero hindi naman pala. But that must have been the best team of LeBron.
What was it
I
like?
mean, a lot of people will argue that this iteration of LeBron with this new set of players here in the Lakers, they seem this is the best he has had,
Mm-hmm.
but the numbers don't show it. So
True. Currently at number five
plus,
right now.
yeah, plus yung injuries nila. So in terms of the wins, durability, and just and I'm talking about the second year Miami when they nung umiksi yung season. I remember that was a very shortened season, eh.
Yeah.
And they won that against Oklahoma, I believe so.
Right.
I believe, and yeah, that must have been his best team.
I want to ask you, Sir Ogie, a couple of years back during the second championship, where were you when Ray Allen hit that shot? You thought it was over. Up ang Spurs on 3-2, di ba? It's like Miami fans are like, wala, tapos na to. And then suddenly they came back to life.
Okay. I had a meeting. Nasa meeting ako noon sa Makati, and I was amongst Spurs fans, and which I'm sure they weren't really. They just didn't like LeBron. And I had a feeling we would lose, really. San Antonio was just a puzzle that, Miami couldn't solve. And Pop was just the coach that they couldn't figure out. And Leonard was so young that time, and just parang sino ba tong malaking kamay na taong to? And that shot, I think I almost had a heart attack because parang, it was such a, literally a game changer, for
Correct.
both sides. Because when he made that shot, nabuhayan yung Miami and na-deflate yung Spurs. I mean, you can argue all you want, but it just showed. They, nag-overtime, double overtime ba o isa lang? Well, nag-overtime, and they were just deflated. And the next game, the last game, Game 7, they were just,
Yep. Yep.
and I could not believe that it could happen to a San Antonio Spurs. They were just, indestructible, which showed the next year when parang, ito yung Spurs na talagang
Kinain sila
kilala
nun.
natin.
Kinain sila nun nung the next year.
Yeah, that was, well, yeah. So I would say I wasn't, yun nga, nasa Makati ako noon, and when nung nakita ko yung shot, it's like, goodness. Hindi mo masasabing swerte kasi very sound yung technique ni Ray Allen. He just went up vertically, Poing! Bang! Maririnig mo yung announcer, bang! Parang mati siya himatayin eh. So that was a great shot.
Now, of course, from the Heat, went to the Cavs, now to LA. I may be asking this question early, but I want to ask, what is your favorite LeBron moment?
Amongst all?
Yes. Top of mind.
I mean, though I think he had the best team in Miami, his best moment was when they won the championship in Cleveland. Because it was sweet. There was redemption. And they won it the classic way with defense. Of course, they will say Kyrie, yes, of course, Kyrie shot that 3-point, but without that block, I mean, really, they could argue kahit hindi na block ni Lebron, baka hindi naman naipasok ni ano yun eh. His name escapes me at the moment, but you know what I'm saying? Parang papasok kaya talaga yun.
Okay, Godala. Block by James.
Yeah, si Iggy. So,
Yeah.
that year, and that year was very special for me as a fan because I went to Cleveland that year. I went to watch one game, the third game where they won. I was in Cleveland that year. and nakanood ako. So that was very special for me.
What was it like in the arena, in that atmosphere?
Oh my goodness, Migs. It's probably, as a fan, wala ka nang mahihiling pa. I was telling si Captain, when I was doing my stream with them, I told them one story where the reason kasi I was in Cleveland was because I have a niece who's a doctor in Akron. And so for me to go all the way to Oakland to watch a Warriors Cleveland game, it was just too expensive. And it was out of my flight plan because I was flying to Manila from New York. So, it was just too expensive. So I said, I think maybe I can do a side trip to Cleveland, visit my niece, and then watch a game with them. And so we did. And the only hotel that I could book myself into was a very expensive hotel. And I didn't realize that the Warriors were staying there. And we were on the same floor. So I saw the jerseys of the Warriors on the floor where I was on. Nakita ko yung jersey ni Curry, ni jersey dun sa hamper nila sa labas. And I actually, at one point, Thomas, was it Steph?
Thompson?
Thompson, yeah, Thompson. Opened the door and he saw me.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "What's this little boy doing here? Little man, I should say, doing on my floor." Tamo, hindi ko maalala yung mga pangalan nila kasi tingin ko si Steph Curry lang naalala ko sa pangalan kasi sila yung kalaban for me. But and it was a great experience. I saw Iguodala on the elevator. Syempre hindi ako nakapagpa-picture dahil bawal. And then that was the game that they first won. So it was just crazy as a fan of basketball. That's nothing can beat that. Yeah, maybe an Ateneo LaSalle game, maybe, or Ateneo UP, maybe, but eto iba rin, iba to.
Tsaka kakaiba, Sir Ogie, kapag finals ang atmosphere. Mas crazy, mas
Yeah.
passionate.
There
We don't
was
know what it's like.
yeah, there's
Okay,
one guy who was a Warriors fan, and he's my baby up siguro 5 levels above us, and he was the only one shouting Warriors. Kawawa siya.
Buti hindi naman siya, buti siya inararo doon ng mga fans, Cleveland fans.
Oh,
Pinabayaan
of
lang
course
siya.
they did. Pero ano lang, puro bulyawan lang, di ba? And I've also watched the Warriors game in Oakland. It was a playoffs game against Portland. Pero yun talaga nasa nosebleed section ako talaga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now, of course, when we talk of championships, we talked about the 2016 championship. What are your thoughts on this 2020 bubble championship? Ito si Lebron.
Well, sabi nila it's the most difficult one because of the circumstances, diba? Psychologically and all of that. And it was just so hard. Everybody wanted to go home and it was so difficult. There was no fans and I guess it was. I would never know. I'm not an athlete. I can only, although I go to work and I have some sort of bubble when I go to work, and I can understand how difficult it can be. However, there was no Durant there. There was no. There were no Clippers there. So the competition, was a bit compromised. But here's the thing. I think it was all orchestrated. It was a very special year. It was the year that, Kobe passed away, and it meant, I think, the world to all the Lakers fans that they won last year because of that, and it was a pandemic, and LeBron obviously took it upon himself and said to himself, "I promise you, I'll bring it home. So promise kept, just like the promise that he kept to Cleveland. See, that's what makes this guy amazing. He's a hero to many people because of the things that he says. I promise I'll do that, and he does it. And then, of course, there's his I Promise School, which is, of course, fantastic as far as being a human being and an advocacy-driven person, an athlete at that. So, sorry I said too much, but what I
No,
was
no, no.
saying was
Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
it was special as far as those things are concerned. Competition, Miami obviously was fierce, and they fought their way to the championship. And but I could tell from the onset na they got this. They got this. Kasi ang daming injured sa Miami noon. Si Bam Adebayo was injured. Goran was injured. You know what I'm saying? The setting was just
It was
God
kind of
said,
laid out. Yeah.
yeah, there was some orchestration from the man above there. I could just feel that. Yeah.
Lastly, as we wrap up our conversation about LeBron James, of course, he's turning 37, but it's like he has still so much that he can do. But for you, Sir Augie, what is your ultimate wish for LeBron's career?
You know, to be honest, as a fan, winning last year was okay. Okay na ako dun eh. Wala na siyang kailangan pang gawin. He keeps saying he's chasing a ghost, who is Michael Jordan, who has 6 championships. And at his age, it's getting increasingly more difficult. And because of the competition out there, it's just So for me, parang as a fan, okay na ako. Okay na ako. Yung pinakita niya yun, it's special enough for me as a fan to have witnessed that. We've actually have seen him live, and to experience what we experienced last year, as LeBron fans. I am admittedly a bandwagoner. I'm a Laker now because of LeBron, obviously. But for me, ayusin niya siguro lang yung kailangan niya ayusin as a person. He is much of he's a very political person. He's involved with a lot of things. And if that's the direction that he wants to take, then that must be what he needs to pursue. He can't do it all. he can't do it all. Yeah.
All right. So maraming salamat. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
so I just wanted to add, as far as basketball is concerned, he does add a lot to the game, but he's not Superman, diba? He's not Superman. Yeah.
All right. So currently has 4. Let's see if he gets to 6, maybe like a Michael Jordan. But we'll save that discussion for later. As we wrap up, thank you so much, Sir Augie, for wrapping up. As we wrap up, rather, our discussion about LeBron James.